I give it all to my intuition, being close to God.
Okay.
That voice in the back of your head, like, bro, you got so much more potential
Man,
than you
untapped
think you
potential.
have. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you can't be hanging around this dude. He ain't giving you nothing but bad energy. You feel it. You
Right.
see his results. You see where he came from too.
That's facts.
And that's not you, man. You had it a little bit better. So let's actually walk a better path so we could grow righteously. You know what I mean? So that intuition in my mind really led the way for me. Intuition to me is like a bird in the sky. It can see the past. It can see the future.
Man.
And it's just trying to tell you, man, just keep it on. Nice. Keep going. Keep going.
Hey, we live now, really. Hey, you said your name is Anthony, but what's Pharaoh? So where did you get the name Pharaoh from? How did you get that? Because Pharaoh is his own entity now. It's a brand, right? It's a brand.
That's a fact. It's incorporated. So, yeah, man. People ask me that all the time. So when I first started cutting hair, I started, my first real job was in Erskine Reed's Barbers in Stratford Mall. I started there back in 2017.
Man.
Yeah, 2017, like in March sometime, springtime.
Okay.
And I was the youngest, you know what I mean? I was just real fresh out of school.
Fresh meat out here.
And you need a barber name. You got to have a cool barber name, man, to go along with it.
Hey, that's facts, though.
So I ain't know, man. So the guys in the barbershop, they just made a joke one time. I think they said something like, when you graduated, your mama or people, your family was like, hey, nephew, congratulations. So they'll call me Nephew the Barber. I'm like, man, I'm not trying to keep that name, nephew. You know what I mean?
Nephew the Barber. Hold on,
nah. What? Nephew.
You're like, I appreciate it, but nah.
Nah, not at all. So I started thinking about the names like the Prodigy and, all that type of stuff. Just something real catchy and that kind of represented who I was.
Okay.
But, as I would, I'm more than just a barber. So in my free time, I would read books that really interested my mind. And at the time, I was super deep into ancient Egyptian mystery, like books and just stuff like that.
Okay.
So African history, but definitely ancient Egypt stuck out to me the most. So I was sitting on the edge of my bed one day like, man, let me try to combine this with barbering, my barber career.
Okay.
So I kind of bit off somebody else, my Instagram account.
Maybe a little bit.
Just a little bit.
We ain't bite all the way. We got a little taste.
I think somebody's name was like Faded Pharaoh or something like that. So I'm like, let me throw my little twist on that. I was just sitting, I'm like, man, Pharaoh Phades. Pharaoh Phades. I'm like, damn. I'm like, damn, that got a catch. Let me sit with that. Hell yeah. I just took the, I put PH, on the face, just to compliment Pharaoh. So I'm like, yeah, man.
You do spell it unique.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go with that, man. And yeah, that's how I got the name Pharaoh.
Man, that's crazy, man. So you started off by just kind of adventuring into different things with you said you was reading Egyptian and just learning about ancient history and things of that nature. Man, that's what's up. So what kind of sparked that interest for you to actually get into ancient history and learning about all kinds of, I want to say, just new information? Because I'm sure it was new information and a lot of things that you didn't know.
Most definitely, man. That's a great question. So it was I just had an open mind. My mind was starting to become more I guess stretched as I started to bump into new information online. Stuff about, like I said, ancient African history. I was like, I never learned this type of stuff in school. And just to hear about the great things my people were doing thousands and thousands of years ago, far as just building pyramids and hieroglyphics and all that type of cool stuff that they did with the temples. And I'm like, man,
it came from somewhere. They ain't just get there by itself.
You know what I mean? I remember being in classroom. They had just really breezed over.
Right. It was a couple pyramids.
Yeah,
right there,
what I mean?
That was it.
Boom, on to the Russians, to the Greeks, and all that type of stuff. So I'm like, man, let me tap into it and really tap into my ancient African history.
Right.
Man, and it just I felt the fire in my stomach whenever I read something. Like I burned through a book
Right.
in a week or so, just because I was so that thirsty for knowledge. So
Man.
yeah, man.
So you just kept that passion. So you was really like, just, you know what? I just want to learn more about who I am. I just want to dive deeper in than just the surface of what I've been told.
Facts.
Because sometimes, like, you can always get told one thing, and then two, a lot of y'all don't know. They don't teach us everything in our history. Like, they don't,
Not at
especially about
all.
our Black culture, about our
Not at
Black
all.
history, our
Exactly.
ancestors, and all that. Like, they
Exactly.
only teach you so much. Like you said, in schools, we kind of just gloss over. We kind of hit slavery a decent amount, but
Yeah, right.
right.
It's
But
like
we
they
don't.
beating a dead horse at this point. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's crazy that I piqued your interest. So as a kid, I want to say, because I want to go way back. So as a young Pharaoh out here, man. So what kind of sparked your interest, into becoming a businessman, becoming an entrepreneur? What was it that kind of sparked when you was younger, young Pharaoh out here in these streets, to the man that you are now? You're a business owner, you're a father, you're an entrepreneur. Like, you do so much. What from your childhood kind of groomed you into becoming the man you are today?
Another great question, man. Another great question. Man, that's a deep one right there. So as a youngster, man, I always found myself being alone and kind of being on my own path as a youngin. So I had
I
to
feel
really
that.
figure out things for myself.
Mm-hmm.
When it was tough, when I had nobody there, it was me. So I'm like, man, I gotta figure out who I am. So it allowed a lot of soul searching for me to tap deeper into myself and kind of really figure out what I want. Don't follow somebody's path. That's not for me. So as I get around new friends and all that, I didn't really feed into the peer pressure that they may throw at me because
Right.
I was real solid in who I was, and I started figuring that out as a young man.
Okay.
So yeah, um,
I mean, so growing up in Chicago, was it kind of hard, like, not getting into the peer pressure? Because that's the thing, like, people don't know, like, Chicago different,
yeah,
and it's a lot of
yeah.
stuff that you can be getting into, whether it's gangs, whether it's smoking weed or doing it. Like, it's a lot of things that you can find your way into trouble. Like, it's trouble out here.
Mhm.
So how did you avoid that, pretty much? Like,
And I'm not going to say I actually avoided it at all,
all right.
but I always, my mom stayed on my ass, so you'll get your ass
Hey, mom,
beat
don't
the
play
fuck
no
up. You know what I
game.
mean?
Hey, grab a
If you
switch or
get
a
caught in
belt.
trouble, exactly. And my mom didn't play that. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful to have her be such of a great influence on me growing up and just having a real good surface for me to stand on.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, it was definitely
Kudos
my
to
mom.
mom.
Yeah,
That's
definitely kudos to mom. Definitely kudos. She kept me on the right path. Kept me straight.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so yeah, man, definitely shout out to moms.
Was it something else like that kind of? So with your mom being such an influential, excuse me, y'all know how my
Nah.
sometimes my speech is. But anyway, so with your mom being such an influential person on you, what was like a few other things that kind of just made you want to, like, become something or become, like, better than what your surrounding surface is? Because growing up in the inner city of Chicago, like I said, it's a lot of stuff that you can get into.
That's a great question, man. Not having nothing, man. Not having nothing. You know, being going to school. I remember being in high school, right?
Yes, sir.
I used to have, certain I ain't
Talk
had
to
too many
me.
clothes. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
I was kind of dirty, so I had to,
Hey, be like
wear
that.
this shirt with these pants one day, wear these pants with the other shirt another day. You know what I
Got to
mean?
mix and match. I still do that some days. We can talk about that though.
Right. So I would look at people like, damn, bro, why can't I have that?
Right.
How come my family ain't come from just, having that or
Right.
being able to give me some money, just throw a couple, fresh new outfits.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't like this feeling, man.
Okay.
So that actually pushed me along a path of doing things that I shouldn't be doing to get money, to get recognition,
Ooh.
to get the females and all that type of stuff young people want. You know what I
That's
mean?
facts. That's
So that
facts.
did throw me into a path where I wasn't acting in my true self.
Mhm.
I wasn't aligned with God. So I learned from those consequences that, trying to figure out which quick ways to make money is going to throw you into some shit. So
That
I
is
figured
true.
out quickly not to do certain shit and hang around certain people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely just that want to be seen, be heard,
Right.
be loved, be popular. You know what I mean? Be like the popular kids. So
Nah, that's facts. That's facts. 'Cause I
yeah,
think I kind of experienced that too myself. Because like in high school, like you said, peer pressure is a motherfucker.
yeah,
And if you ain't got all the fresh clothes, you ain't got this, you ain't got that, you're going to want to go out and try to find that, or try to get into something where you're going to be able to look fresh. You're going to be able to be the popular kids and things like that. And it's hard sometimes too, like not wanting to go the bad route, but sometimes that door kind of open wide up. And it's like, man, fuck it, let me walk through here. I want to be cool. I want to be popular. I want the fresh clothes.
Exactly.
You know, like
exactly.
It's hard sometimes, man.
Mm-hmm. And you know, in high school, bro, it's such a new experience. It's like, damn.
Right. You see the girls.
It was really the girls. That's really the thing, bro, because we do it all for the girls. You know what I mean?
Hey, right.
I want the fresh clothes, the money, you know what I mean? And just that type of aura around me that the popular kids had, man.
Right.
So I definitely looked up to them. So I tried it the best I could, but I had to go the bad route to get what I wanted. You know what I mean?
I got you. So let's elaborate on for all my youngins out there. So what took you to the bad route, but brought you from the bad route to, you know, eventually getting on your path that you on now?
That's a packed question right there, man. That's about.
I want to peel back the layers.
That's
baby.
About 7 years of ass right there. But nah, straight up. So, man,
you got to give us all the juice. Give us
yeah. So I used to, you know, I started hanging around, you know, people in gangs and all that type of stuff.
Okay.
And we would do bad shit after school. You know,
man,
we would go to Marshalls and steal clothes out of there, like straight up.
Go to the dressing room, go ahead, hey, rip the tags off.
Sometimes you gotta hit stains. Sometimes you gotta steal people's phones and all that. Go pop them off and get more, you know, get money to buy more clothes.
That's facts.
Or you just want to get money to buy weed and, you know,
real talk,
do shit like that.
Right.
So I would hang around certain people that pretty much that's all they did. You know, that's their lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Even though your environment though.
Yeah. Even though in my intuition, I was like, bro,
like in the back of your head,
you know you're not supposed to be doing this shit. You know you got to be home at a certain time, and you know you got to make up a lie just to see what tell your dad where the fuck you been at. You know what I mean? So
that's facts.
Yeah, bro, just being around the wrong crowd, you know, it got me. It just swayed me down the wrong path.
So what was that moment then? What was that one moment in your head that, yes, I went down this path, but okay, what brought you out of it though?
It's a great question, man. I give it all to my intuition. Being close to God, you know, that voice in the back of your head, like, bro, you know, you got so much more potential,
man,
than you think potential. You have, you know what I mean? And you know you can't be hanging around this dude. He ain't giving you nothing but bad energy. You feel it. Right. You see his results. You see where he came from too.
That's facts.
And that's not you, man. You had it a little bit better. So let's actually walk a better path so we could grow righteously. You know what I mean? So that intuition in my mind really led the way for me. You know, intuition to me is like a bird in the sky. It can see the past. It can see the future. Man. And it's just trying to tell you, man, just keep it on. Facts. Keep going.
That's facts. Okay, I respect that, man. That's a hell of an answer too, because sometimes, like, some people don't trust their intuition. Some people don't trust that little voice that they hear sometimes in the back of their head. They don't know if it's God. They don't know. Nah, that's you, that other person inside of you that wants you to do right, that wants you on the right path, and that's trying to prevent you from, you know, ending up somewhere that you're not supposed to be. You know, sometimes you got to trust it. And then sometimes people just don't want to give in to that voice because they like, man, I know that's not the cool thing to do, or that's not the right thing. I don't want to be, you know, casted out and have people not mess with me no more.
They start feeding to their lower selves, to their desires, to the animalistic nature of themselves. You know what I mean? Instead of tapping into the God frequency.
That's facts. That's facts. Hey, we live now, really.